What is up, beautiful people? It's your girl, Dr. Nina, your mind-body transformation specialist, and today I'm dropping some knowledge on you. Look, y'all, since January, I have dropped 30 pounds and counting, and it's been a continuation of my postpartum weight loss efforts. That's right, 30 pounds down, and your girl is feeling energetic as ever. Energy is through the roof. My skin, glowing, and my mind is sharper than ever. Now, how did I do it? Intermittent fasting completely revolutionized my approach to health and wellness. And for 30 days, I truly documented everything. And the results gonna blow your mind because they blew mine. What y'all may not know, and some of you that are new, this is not my first weight loss transformation. Years ago, intermittent fasting played a crucial role in my 100-pound weight loss. And I did it as a broke college student on a serious budget. No expensive supplements, no fancy meal services, no personal chef. Just simple, effective strategies that anyone can implement. Guess what? I applied the same principles for my recent transformation. And baby, we still clocking the pounds. This isn't about spending a fortune on your health. It's about smart approaches that deliver real results regardless of your budget. By the way, all my favorite budget-friendly health items can be found in my LTK shop, and it's linked down below in the description. And if you're curious about intermittent fasting and not sure if it's legit or affordable, this video is gonna give you all the answers, not just from someone who's been there and done that, but from a licensed psychologist that also approached this from a mental health perspective. And I've done this twice. Once as a broke student, now as a busy mama. Now make sure to drop your story in the comments. I want to hear about your journey and let me know the other topics that you want me to cover next. And stay until the end to discover exactly how I made this whole thing sustainable with a little help that I'm obviously obsessed with. It's a game changer and you don't want to miss it.
Nina, the girl next door, beautiful brown baby doll.
Let me first break down what I actually did. Now, you know there's multiple protocols when it comes to intermittent fasting, and I specifically use the 16-8 protocols, where you fast for 16 hours and you eat between an 8-hour window. For me, that means eating between about the hours of noon to 8 p.m., give or take. And before anybody comes for me in the comments, yes, I consulted with my doctor, and I suggest that you do the same. This isn't for everyone, especially if you have a history of disordered eating or if you have other health complications. Now let's get into that science for a minute. When you extend the time between meals, several fascinating things happen in the body. First, your insulin level drops significantly. Insulin is that hormone that helps to store excess energy as fat. When your insulin levels drop during fasting, your body can more easily access stored fat for energy. During my 100-pound weight loss, this was a game changer for me, y'all. I tried counting calories for years with minimal results before that. But when I introduced those fasting periods, my body finally started responding. Second, your body starts to activate something called autophagy. Think of this as your body's cellular cleanup crew, removing damaged cells and regenerating new ones. When I turned 40, I noticed that my skin started looking a little more tired than it usually does, okay? And during this 30-day experiment, people started asking me about my skincare routine again. So I didn't even realize it, but this internal process was actually taking hold and really making the cellular turnover even better. Third, and this is what fascinated me as a psychologist, your body starts to increase something called BDNF, brain-derived neurotropic factor. It's like the fertilizer for your brain cells. It supports cognitive function and protects against neurodegenerative disease. I literally felt that my mental fog lifted around day 10. As a professor who has to constantly show up for my students and be sharp at that, I can tell you firsthand, the cognitive benefits alone make it worth it for me. Now let me keep it all the way real with y'all. Their first week, it was a struggle. I was hangry. My body was like, excuse me, ma'am, where's our 7 a.m. breakfast? And where's the way that you were eating when you were pregnant? Because all of that was out of whack. I experienced headaches, irritability, and the first morning was a mental battle. But here's where my background came in clutch. I recognize these as normal adjustment responses. Our bodies and minds resist change, even positive changes. What really saved me was getting enough protein. On most days, it was 150 grams or more. That, along with vegetables and other nutrient-dense foods, kept me surprisingly full during my eating window and after. This was a major lesson from my 100-pound weight loss journey. When the nutrition is right, the hunger is manageable. It's not about when you eat, but what you eat that keeps intermittent fasting sustainable. And yes, baby, I still treat myself. I know y'all think I am a army when it comes to eating. I love sushi. I try to reduce or stay away from the rice on it. and I even still eat out from time to time. I do enjoy treats, but I stick with mostly protein, lower carb, and lower sugar approach. This works for me even though I'm not keto. The ultimate measure of my health is not what social media says is healthy. It's my blood test, my blood pressure, and how I feel overall. And I stay on top of it religiously. I even have a little blood pressure machine in my house. I want you to remember that anything in excess can be bad for you. And all of our bodies work and process things differently. Do your research and find out what works for your unique body. But let me share a specific moment that almost broke me. Day 3, I was grading stuff at 10:30 a.m. and my stomach was screaming. I actually got up and walked to the kitchen before catching myself. The habit was so ingrained that I was on autopilot. So I used a technique that I know is used in therapy called urge surfing. Instead of fighting the craving, I observed it like a wave. I noticed where I felt it in my body. I acknowledged it without judgment and reminded myself that it would pass. And you know what? Within 20 minutes, it did. I waited it out. And during my initial weight loss journey over 20 years ago, I faced the same hurdles. What helped me was reframing my hunger pangs. Instead of thinking I'm suffering, I switched to my body is adapting. And this can help you break any kind of habit pattern. I also discovered that staying hydrated made a huge difference. Those hunger pangs were sometimes just actually thirst. So that's why you shouldn't be out here thirsty for nothing. Okay, stay full. A warm cup of herbal tea or water with lemon often did the trick. Now, y'all, this video is sponsored by Hungry Root. And let me tell y'all why this partnership makes so much sense to this journey. Hungry Root is the easiest way to eat healthy. They're like your personal shopper and nutritionist wrapped into one. They handle all the weekly meal planning and grocery shopping by recommending healthy groceries and delicious recipes tailored specifically for your tastes. Y'all know what I call my life, busy season, all year round. Between my practice teaching and creating content, I don't always have a lot of time to grocery shop or cook healthy meals at home. And that's why I've been using Hungry Root. With over 15,000 recipes shipped each week, there's something for every taste and nutrition preference. From anti-inflammatory to gut-friendly, gluten-free or dairy-free, high protein, and more. This was crucial during my intermittent fasting experiment because what you eat during that eating window really matters. Shopping, cooking, and planning really can be simple and stress-free. Just tell Hungry Root about your preferences and even your goals. And they fill your cart with personalized recommendations that get smarter as they learn more about what you liked or didn't love. They'll send everything you need to whip up tasty meals in much less time than it takes to get delivery or takeout. Most of their recipes can be made in 15 minutes or less. They have great options for the whole family with healthy groceries like smoothies, kid snacks, sweets, ready-to-eat meals, salad kits, and even supplements, y'all. There's no high fructose corn syrup or artificial sweeteners or preservatives in any of Hungry Root's food. They only source top quality meat and seafood that's free of hormones and antibiotics. Take advantage of this exclusive offer. Click the link below and go to hungryroot.com and use my code. That's code drnina. That's 40% off your first box and a free item of choice for life at hungryroot.com. So y'all, let's get into those physical changes. By the end of week 2, something incredible started happening. The morning brain fog that I didn't even know I had, gone. And my energy levels became more sustainable throughout the day. No more of those 3 p.m. crashes. And y'all know what I'm talking about. Let me be specific about the things I noticed because they simply weren't what I expected. First, my skin transformation was dramatic. During that 100-pound weight loss years ago, I struggled with inflammation and breakouts from hormonal changes. This time around day 14, I started receiving a lot of compliments about my glow, even comments from y'all on my videos about my glow, okay? The difference was so noticeable that my esthetician said she could notice a big difference in my skin. Second, my sleep quality improved tremendously. During my weight loss journey, insomnia had been one of my biggest obstacles. This time, I tracked my sleep, more specifically with my watch. My data showed that I'd spent 23% more time in a deep sleep in that previous 30 days. I was falling asleep faster and actually waking up refreshed. Third, my digestive system thanked me, y'all. Let's be real, as we age, things don't always work as smoothly as they used to. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Given my digestive system that extended break overnight, it resulted in less bloating and more regular patterns. And we like regularity when it comes to that, okay? As someone who struggled with a little bit of IBS in my regular weight loss journey, this benefit alone makes it worthwhile. By day 30, I believe I had lost something like 12 pounds. Not dramatic, but it was more than I was expecting. What struck me is that it feels different from traditional dieting because I'm not. And during that 100-pound weight loss, I was fixated on the scale a lot. This time I've been more focused on how I feel. And the weight loss has been a bonus side effect. And I've told y'all that I've used my Hume scale in order for me to look at the deeper metrics of my body, like actually body fat percentage and other things that are useful in knowing it's my muscles getting bigger or other things happening. This has been really rewarding. A particularly powerful thing happened when I realized I was naturally gravitating to more healthy and nutritious foods. The craving for more processed foods and sugar-rich foods had really reduced. My body was actually asking for nutrient-dense foods over calorie-dense foods. But about those psychological benefits, y'all. As a psychologist, what really blew me away was the mental benefits. And this is where I want to get into some fascinating neuroscience that you can actually feel in your daily life. Studies show that intermittent fasting promotes neuroplasticity, your brain's ability to reorganize and form new neural connections. During my 100-pound weight loss, I experienced what most clients call the diet brain, that foggy, irritable mental state where you're restricting calories. But with intermittent fasting, I experienced the opposite effect. My focus sharpened, my mood stabilized, and my cognitive flexibility improved. Now, let me give y'all a real example, okay? Now, I have been working on some challenging research and a write-up during this 30-day period. About day 18, I experienced what is described as the flow state, that magical state where you're completely absorbed by what you're doing. Time seems to disappear and your creativity soars. I wrote for 4 hours straight without even realizing it, and I wasn't looking at my watch the whole time. Before my intermittent fasting phase, I would have been distracted, getting up for snacks, checking my phone. Y'all know the drill, click like if you do. Even more powerful was the impact on my emotional regulation. I've often talked to clients about the connection between blood sugar fluctuations and your mood swings. When I stabilized my eating patterns through intermittent fasting, I realized that I wasn't as triggered by stressors. Things that would normally set me off, they were easier to handle with perspective and emotional distance. But perhaps the most powerful psychological benefit in all of this was the sense of control and discipline that transferred to other areas of my life. Now, let me know if y'all want a video specifically on discipline, because I would love to do that. There's something powerful about setting intentions and following through, even when it's challenging. That sense of accomplishment and self-efficacy, it's a cornerstone of psychological well-being. So how did I make intermittent fasting sustainable, both during the 100-pound weight loss journey and during this time? Let me share my strategies that made all the difference. First, I learned to distinguish between different types of hunger, physical hunger versus emotional or habitual hunger. During my 100-pound weight loss, I figured that I had started eating breakfast at 7 a.m. and starting off with something to eat so quickly, not because my body needed the fuel, but because it was something I had always done. Breaking that pattern required me actually checking in with my body's actual signals. Here's a technique I developed when I felt hungry. I'd ask myself, would I eat steamed broccoli right now? If the answer was yes, I was experiencing genuine physical hunger. If the answer was no and I'd totally eat a cookie, that was emotional or habitual hunger. Second, I scheduled my eating window strategically. This was around my social life and work schedule. Some days that meant noon to 8 p.m., some days 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. During my initial weight loss journey, I tried to be too rigid at first. And that led to social isolation because I didn't want to go nowhere where I could not eat. The flexibility was crucial in making intermittent fasting a lifestyle and not a diet, y'all. Third, I prioritized nutrient-dense foods, and that kept me satisfied longer. During my 100-pound weight loss journey, I made the mistake of breaking my fast with processed carbs, and that would literally spike my blood sugar. I would feel great for about an hour, and then I would literally crash. This time, I broke my fast with protein, healthy fats, and also fiber, like a smoothie with protein powder, spinach, avocado, and my loved mixed berries. This steady fuel keeps the energy levels stable throughout the day. And finally, I practiced self-compassion. During my weight loss journey, I was so hard on myself when I messed up. This time, if I had an early morning snack or a late night snack past my eating hours, I didn't beat myself up about it. I simply acknowledged it without judgment and returned to my pattern throughout the day. This psychological freedom made all the difference in my sustainability. My biggest learning is consistency matters over perfection. It's what you do most days and not every day that's going to shape your health outcomes. So y'all, my conclusion and tips. So would I recommend intermittent fasting? For many people, yes, with the right approach and the right expectations. It not only transformed my body, but my mental clarity and my emotional regulation, not only during this journey, but I can remember it from my 100-pound weight loss journey. So let me give you 5 evidence-based tips that combine my professional expertise as well as my personal experience. 1, start gradually. Don't just jump straight into the 16-8 talking about Dr. Nina told me to do this. I ain't told you none of that. During my weight loss journey, I started with a 12-12, then a 14-10, and then I worked my way up. This gradual approach helps your body adapt without all the extra shock and anger. 2, stay hydrated during your fasting window and during your eating window. Water, herbal tea, black coffee. I add a little bit to mine, okay? Not only does this manage hunger, but dehydration can masquerade around as if you are absolutely hungry when you're not. You're just thirsty, so stay hydrated. 3, break your fast mindfully. Don't rush into some big meal that's going to spike your blood sugar levels and only leave you to crash hard later on. Start with something gentle but nutrient dense. 4, use the hunger wave technique. When a strong hunger sensation hits, recognize that it typically peaks and then subsides within 10 to 20 minutes. Rather than immediately acting on it, observe it like a wave that's eventually going to pass. And 5, remember that fasting is a tool and is not a religion, boo. This is not the Church of Intermittent Fasting, Church of IF. Adapt it to your life, your body, and your needs. What worked during my weight loss journey evolved as my life changed. And that's exactly how it should be. So there you have it, y'all. My newest journey with intermittent fasting. If y'all have any questions, thoughts, comments, or thoughts, just anything, write it down below. Also share the things that have been working for you. If you're using any kind of intermittent fasting protocol, let us know down below because I'm sure there's a lot of other people that could benefit from your journey as well. Y'all, thank you again for watching. Make sure that you comment, share this video with someone who can use it, and subscribe. Thanks so much for watching, y'all. Beautiful brown baby doll. Peace.